small change. Today it is hardware. So today's class we are going to discuss about like what is issues in hardware software co-design. Okay, so when you good morning students. So when you are going to prepare an embedded system, whether your embedded system made up of hardware specialist microcontroller or a normal controller with high skill in software. So since I have told you are all the CEO of a company, because you got an idea and that idea you try to make it as a product, then whether you will depute hardware engineers or software engineers, more number of hardware engineers or more amount of software engineers. So when you use software engineer, they will try to write a program with loops and all such things, and they try to minimize the hardware requirement and they will try to write it. Whereas when you implement more number of hardware known person, which means a person who knows more microcontroller, more about the features available in a microcontroller, so what he will suggest is he will ask for, let us go for a controller which has an inbuilt PWM. If you are a well pakka software team, then they will say no need to go for a controller with PWM generation. Let us itself will write a program and generate the PWM, required PWM. So that is what called as issue in hardware and software co-design. So certain subsystems in hardware like microcontroller, where you have real-time clock, system clock, pulse width modulation, timers, serial communication, can also be implemented by software, which means you take a controller which doesn't have real-time clock, but you can achieve the same function of real-time clock with the software also. How? Keep on checking, just to put a timer and keep on checking whether there is something happening, or you can just put a timer and say what is there. So system clock. So there are some features which are available as an separate module itself in microcontroller, whether you are going to use that one or you are going to implement by the software. Hardware implementation through increase the operation speed but may increase power requirement. So second thing, okay, I have decided that I am going to go with the microcontroller which has all the inbuilt feature itself. Inbuilt feature is that when you take that microcontroller has an inbuilt pulse width modulation technique itself. Now what will happen is, when you increase your hardware side thing, automatically the power consumption will increase, because coding is writing a software and running the software will not take much power, rather using the blocks available in the microcontroller itself. Okay, so that is what they say. Hardware implementation though increase the operation speed, because if you are using inbuilt PWM, then time required to generate PWM will be less, or the response of your controller will be very fast. But when you see where some application where power requirement is the major criteria, see if you have launched a satellite and the satellite is on space, there power is the major. I am going to charge only with the help of solar, so availability of solar, then charging, all that thing will be in my consideration. So in that case, power consumption by my satellite should be less. Okay, so there what I will do is I will go for software. So this is only a mutual. So that is why we call issue in hardware software co-design. You need hardware, you need software. Now condition is how much you require in hardware or how much you require in software, whether more number of hardware or less amount of program, or more amount of program oriented I will write. See, this can be done only if the employee of your company. So if your employee is skilled in software, then he will write everything by program itself. He doesn't expect anything on the microcontroller as a module. Whereas if I have a strong hardware team, then they will tell that go by selecting a proper controller which has inbuilt. Okay, serial communication, real-time clock and timers featuring microcontroller may cost more than a microprocessor with the external memory and software implementation. So again cost come into picture. See, there are some embedded product where cost doesn't matter, whereas there are some products which you have to sell in a market when the cost is only low, they will buy. Okay, so I'm saying a small embedded products like how can I give an example, like you are preparing a brush which is totally automated brush, which means just turn on and keep it in your mouth, automatically brush will go in forward direction, come back, all such things is able to do. It is a small example I'm saying. In that case only cost is the consideration. So wherever you go for cost, then obviously everything you have to write by program, then only cost can be made less. Simple coding for device drivers, if whatever available in hardware itself I am using, then software part is very easy. Okay, now if I go by software, I have to say what and all advantage available. So software implementation advantage, easier to change when new hardware version becomes available. If you are going with a particular microcontroller, for example 16F877A, it is a PIC microcontroller, then you might have take that controller and you might have decided that now I want one PWM, and you might have used, and your application now increases or you are expanding, you are going to add some more features. In that case PWM will be only one in that microcontroller, so I cannot go for changing the microcontroller itself. Rather, if you have implemented same with the software, you think now, I think you can understand, because I have written only with a program for PWM, I can put one more loop or one more subdivision for program and I can generate two PWM. So that is what they say, easier to change when new hardware version become available. Then programmability for complex operation, when your operation is so complex, then programmability is only the solution, so that you have to do only with the software. Then faster development time, so only changing in program, not changing in hardware, means your time will be less. Modularity and probability, modularity is when you have a big task to be done, divided into module, and each and every module you separately write a program. So appoint 10 or 20 teams, give each modularity to each team and ask them to do, and probably all will get completed and you can merge. Whereas if you go for hardware, that is not there. Then use of standard software engineers, modeling and RTOS tools, faster speed of operation of complex function with high speed microprocessor, less cost for simple system. When you make a simple hardware system, then you can make only with software implementation. Performance acceleration, now you are decided to go with the software, and now you can, performance can be accelerated using loop. It போயிடுச்சாபா 1 minute. கிளாஸ் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கா, எதுவும் போடுங்க, வெளியே போங்க. கிளாஸ் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன்டா, எதையும் பண்ணு போ. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Here there is some net issue, I think so. It is disconnecting. Okay, we will try to continue. Okay, so I till what you are able to hear?
Sir, 5 minutes more, sir.
Okay, so software implementation, we have seen what is the advantage with software implementation. So from this I will start. So it is easier to change when new hardware version becomes available. That is, if I am taking a particular microcontroller and I am saying that there is 2 PWM available, so directly with that PWM available in that hardware itself, if I generate, and suddenly if my program extend beyond where I require suddenly 4 PWM, then I have to change the microcontroller itself. Whereas if I done with the same PWM generation with the help of my software, then there is no need to change the device. So that is what is the first point. Then programmability for complex operation is easy using software if the software team is well equipped, and there are so many advanced way of software writing, so all that it can be done. Then faster development time. When you write with software with a specialized team, then you can make it at a faster rate. Then modularity and probability. So if the complex program can be subdivided into each and every module, and each and every module can be separately written a program, and then it can be merged. Then use of standard software engineering modeling. There are predefined modeling available for software that you can follow. Then fast speed of operation of complex function with high speed microprocessor. In general, microprocessor are very faster than microcontroller, because nowadays you have a processor of working in gigahertz and even at more rate. So when your complexity of the program increases, then you can go for high speed. There is no need that you have to go with the controller with predefined options. Okay, lesser cost for simple system. If I am not complicating with the hardware unit, then cost will be always less, because when you are write program, that doesn't cost anything. Whereas if you try a search and microcontroller which has an inbuilt feature, then obviously the cost of the controller will be high. Performance and acceleration is with the availability of the software itself. Now we are going to discuss for that software way itself how to accelerate the performance. So you have to use loop flattening. Loops are converted into state program flow. So when number of loops is less, obviously the speed will increase. So using lookup table instead of control condition test. Don't test it for a condition, and if that condition is occurring, then do that job. When you writing like program like this, rather if you use lookup table, then obviously your program speed will be more. Reusing the used array in memory, appropriate variable selection, appropriate memory allocation and deallocation strategy. This is all you know. Now everything is only virtual memory. So that is the concept of virtual memory. So you no need, why we are saying like this is, you take a processor, and if you connect 500 GB hard disk, or if you connect 1 tetra, now you can ask me, sir, which will be more faster is 500 GB hard disk processor itself will work fast, because for each and everything it is going to search within the 500 GB, whereas in 1 tetra obviously your address size will increase. When address size is increased, then rather by one instruction you have to call by 2 or 3 instruction to a particular location. So with the minimum memory we are able to do more work. So that is called reusing used arrays in memory. Then comes your using stack as a data structure when feasible in place of queue, and using queue in place of it list whenever feasible. So stack is nothing but it is a temporary storage. Okay, so you push something to the stack and then you take it back, rather erasing and all. So you used some content, and when you erase it and reuse it, the last content is totally lost. So rather what you can do is go for stack. Then computing slowest cycle first and examining the possibility of its speed up. Then code such that more words are fetched from ROM as a byte than multi-byte words. So whenever you know that among the available types of memory, ROM is very fast. Random access memory is fast compared to other devices. So whenever you want to do something, try to keep it in ROM. Now let us see with hardware implementation advantage. When I am going for inbuilt PWM microcontroller, then memory usage will be less, or your program number of program lines will come down. For better understanding, you must read a subject like microcontroller based system design, which is on the next semester. Then only you will understand it more clear. But I try to explain. But when you read that subject, you will understand it more. Thing is, you go and buy a microcontroller who is capable of generating sine PWM itself. Sine PWM, I think you all know. It is for one of the PWM technique used for inverter. to convert DC voltage into sine waveform. See, you know that there are 4 switches in an inverter. So with the help of 4 switches, you are able to convert DC into AC, but you will get only square output. Rather than square output, if I want sine, I will go for PWM technique, the turning on and off of the device. So now there are some microcontroller with inbuilt sine PWM itself. So that is what they say, reduce memory for the program, because I don't want to sit and write hundreds of lines to generate sine PWM. Rather, I have inbuilt sine PWM. So that is what they say, reduce number of chip but increased cost. Okay, then internally embedded code more secure than external ROM. See, when I use for a particular application, if I use external memory plus my microcontroller as an embedded, and that whatever written on that particular RAM is not secure. Okay, anyone can easily take that RAM and they try to see what is there inside. Then how to accelerate performance. An acceleration may include bus interface unit like DMA. So when you put a DMA, I think you all know, direct memory access, which means whenever you want to transfer a bulk of data from your hard disk to pen drive, or from your CD to hard disk, where I should not involve my processor for that process, I should make that to be done separately, then only I will go for DMA, direct memory access. So in that case, there is a small processor inside who will take care of this data transfer and make the main processor available free, so that he can do some other work. So obviously, whenever you do, you select a controller with the DMA. So when you select with the DMA, obviously you can improve the performance. An acceleration uses a programming module to accelerate, unlike coprocessor which has instruction set for specific task. When you want to go for acceleration, you have to do with the main processor itself. Don't go for any coprocessor like math processor and all. A processor register interact and content to an accelerator through bus, so that the processor controls the acceleration for obtaining an higher performance. So bus decides. So that is why the development has made. They started when you last semester you might have studied microcontroller and microprocessor with the 8-bit, which is total number of lines inside your processor is 8 lines. Now, whereas when you see the laptop or the today's, we go for 64-bit. We have moved from 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 32 to 64. So at a single instant, I can send a 64-bit inside my processor between the various unit. So that will accelerate my so go for I-bit. Then porting input-output instruction issues of an embedded platform. Data types may differ on different platform. We all know signed character, unsigned int, unsigned long, and unsigned short, which is nothing but the number of bits. That's all. Whether you are going to use decimal or round off. So based upon that, you have to select. All these are different types of controllers. I think you might have not seen anything like this. You might have seen only Atmel. This is AMR. It is called as ARM processor, and this you might have seen Intel. It is 8086. Okay. So interrupt vectors on operating support. So you should have more number of input interrupts, so that you can take more inputs rather than getting from a software. So that is why interrupt vectors are to be defined differently. OS supports these differently on different platforms. Then let us move on to the next topic, which is called program modules. Now we have started with embedded development life cycle. Then we have seen that there are some steps to be followed. Then how you are going to go to the step is the models which you have seen. There is a waterfall model where you will go one by one. There is iteration where you put something in a loop and try to get product, all that we have seen. So that model you don't confuse with this. Okay, this is now entering inside your program. In program, how you are going to model. So data flow graph, state machine model, sequential program model, concurrent model, and object oriented model. Object oriented model, you have a best example, that is C++. Sequential program model is C. Okay. For today's class, let us discuss about data flow graph, state machine model and sequential. In next class, we can see about concurrent model and object oriented model. With that, unit number 3 is over. Okay. So data flow is data flow graph model translate data processing requirement into data flow. Data flow graph is a data driven model in which program execution is determined by data. So what is you take from external, from that you are going to write the program. If 1 is coming from outside, what is the task? If 2 is coming from outside, what is the task? If 3 is coming from outside, what is the task? So the program itself is executed based upon the data coming from outside. So that is called data flow. Data is really flowing inside your program. So that is called data flow graph. In data, I am repeat, in data flow graph, your program itself run only based upon the data which is coming from outside. So that is what they say. In data flow graph is a data driven model. So model is driven by data in which the program execution is defined by the data. This model emphasizes on data and operation on data which transform the input data into output data. Indeed, DFG is a visual model in which operation on data is represented using block. For example, when you go for I have given this example. You have an audio system in car. Okay, this audio system I think now you are playing with the FM. Okay, I am not putting CD or pen drive. If I am putting FM, okay, then what is happening from the antenna? I am receiving the FM signal and the signal is brought in, and this there will be some noise in this signal, and that signal noise has to be removed. So there you go for embedded system. So you cannot say all the time you will get same noise. So noise will differ. So based upon the noise only sorry based upon the noise only your filtration will vary. So that is example for data flow. So what is coming from outside, based upon what is coming from outside only I am going to do the task. Okay, so inward arrow to the process represent the input data and outward arrow from the processor represent output data. Embedded application with the computational but we will not give example like your FM signal removing, applying filter and all that is slightly complicated. Now we will just give a mathematical expression like x is equal to a plus b. So a and b are coming from outside, so result is nothing but addition of 2, and y is nothing but x minus c. So these are the expression. So the value of x and value of y is purely depending upon the data which is coming. Are you able to understand? So the value of x and the value of y is purely depend upon the value which is coming in. So you can see by here. So I am getting a, I am getting b, and I am getting c. So in my program I will write like x is equal to a plus b. A and b are two value, you will add, and then y is nothing but x minus c. So that is called as y. So this is called data flow graph method. Okay, next is state machine model. State machine is very good example for state machine model is your 1 rupee coin box. Nowadays you don't have this, like public telephone booth, where in public telephone booth whatever you doing is it based upon state machine. What is the state of that particular machine is going to decide the next step. Okay, so I repeat, inside you have written some program. This program will run based upon the current status. Okay, so I think you can understand. So you will go and lift your handle. Once you lift the handle, it will display what it will display. Insert coin. Okay, you will insert the coin. So once you have inserted the coin, you will try to see dial tone. If you are not getting dial tone, what you will do? Just keep the receiver again. So automatically your coin comes out. So what is the state? So first state what? Whether you are getting the ringtone or not. Okay. Okay, I am getting the ringtone. Then what will be the next state? It will say please enter the number. Then you have to enter a valid number. So for example, if you are typing a mobile 10-digit number, if I have typed only 9 numbers, then what it has to say, it is an invalid number. So again you have to cut it, your coin will come down. So you can see, once if you have dialed the wrong number, it will not go to the next stage, and it will not go to ring, and it will not go to start the timer, and it will not come down in time, and it will not take the coin. Okay, all that is not at all possible because I have not typed a valid number. So okay, if I typed a 10-digit number, then what it will do, again also it should not take the 1 rupee coin. It has to see whether the opponent person is picking up the call, so it will go to ring. So again next step is only on state. What is the state now? Now it is ringing. So wait in this state till whether two option is possible. One, either the person has to pick up the call or he will not pick up the call. So if he picks the call, go to the next stage, that is where you will be given with 120 seconds. So it will start when opponent person says hello, then it will start the timer. From 120 it will come down, and whenever 0 is coming, you have to put a coin or line will be cut. There is a situation where I am calling, ringtone is there, and the person is not at all picking. So now what I have to do, I cannot take the 1 rupee. What I have to give, rather I have to give the 1 rupee back, saying that the person is not taking. So from one stage to next stage, it is moving only based upon the state of that particular thing. Okay, you can see here. Now it is ideal. When I take the receiver, it will go for dial tone. This is the coin. Instead that I am inserting a coin, dial tone will be there. Then for dial tone, it will wait for some time for you to enter the number. And if you are not at all entering, again it is nothing but timeout. It has to come out. Okay. Within the prescribed time you have entered, so it will go for dialing. Now it will see whether it is able to connect. So it will see connecting, then it will start ringing. Once ringing, then talking, then it will take the time, and it finally says okay, bye, or it will cut the line, or otherwise it will say busy, the number is not correct. So each and every state, from one state to other state, it is based upon only the state of the particular situation. So this is called state machine model. One more example, if you want, Coca-Cola factory, if you take bottle from the customer has to be cleaned, then it has to be arranged. Only if the bottle is arranged, the tray will move. If no bottle is arranged, then the tray will not move. Then tray will move, then bottle will be placed in conveyor belt. Only if there is bottle, then Coca-Cola filling will start. Otherwise it is waste. Even if the bottle is not there, if I had opened that Coca-Cola dispenser, how it will be filled. So each and every state, it will, based upon the state only the action will go. Without the state, the action will not go. Okay, I cannot say that I expected you will keep a bottle, so I have released the Coca-Cola. All that you are not supposed to say. I will put a sensor that whether that bottle is coming to that place or not. Only if the bottle reach that place, then only I will read that bottle has reached. Then only I will go for opening the valve of the Coca-Cola. Then only it will enter. Again, I should tell that now I have kept 1 liter bottle. I have to tell now I have 300 bottle. Again for that I will have a sensor, and that sensor will identify and give it to state. Only if that passes, it will release 300 ml. Only if that passes, it will release 500 ml. So purely depends upon the state. So that is called state machine model. So this is the second type. Then comes sequential. I think this we all know because we have written so many programs in C language. I am not saying C++, I am saying C language, where it is a sequential order. It doesn't depend upon state, it doesn't depend upon thing. Only when first line is executed, it will go to second line. If second line is executed, it will go to third line. So your program is now only in terms of lines. First line being executed, go to second line. I think you might have done lab in microprocessor for addition of two numbers. What you have done, load accumulator, then move the content to a register, then again move load accumulator, then next instruction add accumulator with the second register, then next line from the accumulator content has to be moved to some person. So what you will do, store STA 6000. So that's all over. So that is called sequential programming. Sequential programming model are used in industrial solution usually. Sequential programming model is named linear programming model also. This program are composed from 4 software components: initialization, reading status of the input, calculation and processing, refreshing value of output. So example for sequential, so reset, main, initialization, read input, process, writing output, and it is going in a sequence. So this is the advantage of sequential programming model, is the design of the program is very similar to classical logical circuit design method. Simultaneously reading of all inputs and writing of all outputs excludes the hazard known as logical circuit. Here it doesn't go for any state or like thing, so program is simple. Whereas when you use state machine model, everything is a switch case inside. It is like a switch case program. You go for each and every switch, whether that state is there, only if that state is there then proceed, otherwise come back. Okay, you can say from outside when you see your telephone booth is so simple, but the program inside it is complicated. Okay, so this is about your sequential programming model. So with this we will try to wind up today. I will just recall what we have seen today. What we have seen is, I will not go for latest hardware available, or I will not go for an highly supernatural power person in writing program, where I will go with some compensation. I go take this hardware, okay, so some part I extract from hardware unit, some part I extract from software, then only I can make my embedded with this much cost, otherwise cost will be increased. Okay, cost is not increased, but it is not working very fast. So when you want fast, you go for hardware. When you want cost, you will go for software. Both is required. So that is why we have seen about issues in hardware software code design. Then today we have seen about in programming there are 3 types of writing, that is state data flow model, state machine model, and sequential model. So with this we will try to start